I had to go get me a bottle.
I need to give me a bottle of water too, real quick.
This is Young Motive, and I have a topic today that's often overlooked: domestic violence. Domestic violence wears many tags. So
we should have domestic violence wears many tags cut.
Yeah.
And
We live. We live.
We live. All right. I like it.
Love the intro.
I do, man. You had a chance to meet Young Motive?
Young Motive is back with the topic of the day. It's a crucial situation that we all must pay more attention to. It's bringing families down. You know me, I know the truth, and I'ma spread it around. It usually happens at home behind closed doors, but it's spreading through high schools and college dorm floors. For the victim, it's like they got their head in the noose from all the scars of the physical and verbal abuse. Men do it to women, women do it to men. It's a cycle that happens over and over again. It's disturbing and far from bliss, and each and every child is emotionally affected by this. I think it's time we bring the dark to the light, to stop the 911 calls in the middle of the night. So I'm reaching out, and I hope it's worth my while.
All right now, man, you are now tuned into the Purple Table Talk, hosted by myself, Christopher Barnes, and Dr. Gary King Carly. There we go. The Purple Table Talk is powered by Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags organization. But before we go any further, I want to take a moment, bro, because you know it's the 16th anniversary of Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags.
Oh.
All right.
Gotta give her hands to that.
16th anniversary. I've been with her 13 years. So, wow. Man, she beyond up and coming now. She established and she blazing the trail.
Hey, listen, we'll take this second to take our hats off, uplift all the great stuff to Queen Afee, found the Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags, of course, powered the Purple Table Talk. I just got to give a shout out and say thank you for all the hard work, dedication that you've been doing in our community, doing for the brothers and sisters out here with the mental health of domestic violence. Just everything that you raise awareness to, Queen Afee. Thank you for helping me with my sobriety and my mental health healing phases in my life, creating safe spaces. I mean, I could just keep continuing spitting on more and more about you, but I just got to give a shout out to you and thank you very much, and congratulations on the 16 years of the hard work and dedication. Thank you.
16, man. And man, in the 13 years I've been with her, bro, I done sat on panels, I done hosted youth events. Yeah, I done a lot of stuff with her, man. One of my most memorable moments with Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags, bro. Let me tell you this story. So one day, I don't know if you know the Conversation Center, right? Mm-hmm. We had the Conversation Center, and PJ Amara's there. He used to be the photographer, the video guy, and she trying to shoot this promo type thing, right? And she looked at me. She said, "I need you to play the abuser." I said, "Oh, okay." Now he got the film rolling, and she said, "Choke me," and I kind of grab her, and she said, "No, choke me like you serious."
Oh, whoa.
I don't know if this is a good idea. So I said, "Give me a second." I step outside. I talk to myself. We just acting. I could do this. And I go inside and I try again. And I say, "Yeah, you know what? I'm so reformed. I can't even play the role of an abuser." So that was a touching moment for me, but it was a learning moment for me. I realized how far my healing and my deliverance had came.
That's right.
And sometimes I guess you need those moments in life. But I mean, if it wasn't for just having somebody to lean on, talk to, go to, again, man, 16 years, man, we applaud you. We applaud you.
Once again, gotta give you a clap.
So with that being said, let me also shout out 22 a day. Can't forget about them. 22 veterans a day kill themselves because of PTSD or whatever trauma they're suffering. So, let's not forget about them too. But with that being said, I'm going to pass the mic to you, brother. We talking about the men rule. today. And so I'm gonna pass you the mic, man. Introduce yourself and let's get with it.
All right. Peace and love, everybody. Once again, it is your unorthodox style street minister, King G. Kali, God's #1 hype man, because I'm always turned up for the good Lord. You know what time it is. So check it out, y'all. This is Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags presents to y'all Purple Table Talk with the Men, episode 4, Stigmas that keep men from pretty much healing. And this is the man rules, okay? All right, so just to get into it real quick, to talk about briefly the man rules, how this came about and how I really wanted to iterate and talk about the man rules was actually when I was in recovery. And during recovery, I learned a lot of different things of how and well, I guess what could turn people into different types of emotional behaviors like alcoholism and drug addiction and anger and violence, all of these things. So while we were learning, we found that the man rules that have been established in society about how men should be able to, like, I guess, behave, I could say. I put together a paper, actual real paper when I taught the class. So I have a real professional style one here put together. But before we get into that, I would just free flow with, just for it to be easier, but understood before we get into the actual main terminologies and stuff about things. But men rules, all right, certain rules that people, that society has used to keep men suppressed. All right, and what I can say is first example, all right, before we get into actual man rules, but an example of a man rule is what? Men, to me, I'll give you one, which is men don't cry, okay? That is a man rule. There are many other man rules, and while we are here live, if you are watching or if anybody has any comments that would like to make about the man rules or if they have other ones, because I only know a few of them, and it could be more. We together can learn if there are other ones to be mindful of. But men don't cry. Let's just start right there. But men don't cry. This is a rule that we are taught, and me as a father, I have taught this to my own children. And if I knew the information that I don't know now, I probably wouldn't have taught this to my children, is that men don't cry. All right. So if we teach each other that we don't cry, we don't show our emotion, then of course we're going to keep a lot of things that are bothering us built up inside. Right. And if we keep them all built up inside, we all know that pressure eventually busts pipes. Or you know what I'm saying? So if we have all of these traumas or all of these different things that we got going on in our life, it could be self-esteem issues. It could be a lot of different things that men deal with. Failure, not having leadership qualities. I'm just kind of jumping all around, but these are different topics or different examples of men rules of that man rule of men don't cry, about like keeping things built up inside of them, not being able to show emotion and express themselves. And this to me, and I don't know if you can feel the same way, my brother, but I feel as though that right there is something that suppresses us. It is something that keeps us from healing. All right, we know from the previous shows that we were just on that we talk about safe spaces and being able to heal by expressing yourself, the BS movement, breaking the silence, correct? So if we have a man rule like men don't cry, that right there is that, to me, and let's just be specific, cry. What causes us to cry? Pain, right? Pain. Or anything that has happened in your life that causes some type of pain or grief or something like that, right? It could be death of a loss of a loved one. It could be a numerous things that causes pain to make you cry, emotionally, physically, or maybe even spiritually. With that being said, I just have to feel as though that if we keep these things bottled up and not being able to cry and show emotion, I feel as though that we always keeping anger and things like that built up, which eventually turns into more rage, or it can be something else. Just before I move into more of the man rules, but like, can I get anybody else, brother? Can I get you to kind of give me an idea? What would you consider would be a man rule for you?
So before I answer that question, first of all, people who was here last month, no men was crying. No men cry because my roll of paper towel still right here.
Yeah, we both show that we can break those barriers right there, man.
But
This last couple episodes.
yeah, I remember learning those rules. You know, man, you know, certain things you don't do because you seem soft. Right. You seem, you know, it's weak. You know, and man rule number one, men don't cry. I'm gonna call it a man myth. You know, because it's a myth. Man, everybody cries.
Right.
Everybody cries. Now, what causes you to cry may vary from person to person, like you say, but crying come from pain. And then different levels of pain. You got emotional pain, you got physical pain, you got mental pain, you know, you got grief type of pain. So at some point in life, if you don't ever shed a tear, you got pain from your mama spanking your butt when you were little.
Right.
Come on, man, I got and you tie that in a rage.
I've seen that before. I've seen somebody beat their child and be like, "You better not cry. You better not cry." Oh, like, what kind of catch-22 is that? Like, how you go?
My favorite was, if you keep crying, I'm gonna give you some more. I'm gonna give you something to cry about.
I'm gonna give you something to cry about, right?
But see, now you tie that in a rage, and you know, if people look at me, man, I'm a good sized dude because I'm well fed, but I'm not muscular. I'm not toned, and I done been in a few fights in my life, but people like that dude, and I would tell people it's the rage that was in me. You know, I would tap into a negative moment in my life, a time that I hated or something, and the rage from that moment will fuel me so bad. It was, yeah. Sometimes people had to stop me.
You know, real quick, we just had somebody ask where we located. Was that Miss Harmon? I believe Yumeki Harmon. We are actually kind of online all over the place. Where you at, Chris? Because I'm in DC.
I'm in Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay, so we in two different parts of the country in the United States.
Let me know though. I rep DC. I'm from DC.
Oh, for sure.
DC. I rep DC, but I just happen to live in Columbia.
So we repping out the United States right now. That's
what we repping. Way to put it.
Yeah, we repping out the U.S. right now.
At least the East Coast right now.
Yeah. But so real quick, let's just jump right back into the professional research that I did. The concept of man rules refers to societal expectations and cultural norms that dictate how men should behave, particularly around expressing emotions. These norms are often tied to traditional views of masculinity, which can pressure men to conform to certain standards that suppress their emotional expression, vulnerability, or anything that might be deemed as unmanly. While these rules vary across cultures and communities, many of them are rooted in a few key ideas about what it means to be a real man. All right. So we just went over one of them. I mean, I'll give us 5. All right. And we just said men don't cry. That will be called emotional stoicism. All right.
Yes.
One of the most pervasive man rules is that men should be emotionally stoic. The rule discourages men from showing sadness, vulnerability, or fear. Crying is often seen as a sign of weakness or a trait associated with femininity. Men are frequently taught to bottle up their emotions or to only show anger or aggression instead of sadness or anxiety. Now, get into that real quick. All right, it said bottled up. Listen, bottled up emotions will eventually result in an explosion. It'll result in rage. It'll result in some type of kickback. You need an outlet, all right? So if you don't express yourself in any kind of way, there's only 2 ways that you're going to express it. It's either going to be a positive way or a negative way. All right, there is no in between. Well, I guess there could be, and you know what? Y'all can hold me to any of this, but you know, I'm not a scientist. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional. All right, we're learning and we're doing all this and learning together. Right. This is information and research and through real life experience how I can share with y'all. All right, so that right there is the emotional stoicism. Be tough, don't cry. All right, another one. This is a very big one right here. All right, I believe they're all just equally the same. This one is called self-reliance. Don't ask for help. Men shouldn't need help from nobody. Okay? This is a rule that I was taught myself coming up, and I remember which withheld me from learning more. right? Because I could have learned more if I could have asked for help. If I could have said, hey, man, how do you do that right there? Men, and because of this man rule, self-reliance, all right, let's go to the professional part. Men are often encouraged to be self-sufficient and not to ask for help, even when struggling emotionally. This can lead to feelings of isolation, depression, and inability to process emotions in a healthy way. The idea is that a real man is someone who doesn't need support or emotional assistance, which suppresses the natural human need for connection.
Wow.
Okay? So, listen, self-reliance. It's good to be self-independent. It's good to be
Yeah.
like that. But it's not good to not to have the want to be able to ask to learn something that you don't know. Because a lot of people be like, oh no, I don't want to learn that because their pride. All right, pride's in the way. All right, these are all kind of filter into self-reliance.
Yeah,
Man, I'm
bro,
not gonna ask him.
my
You know what I'm saying? I'm not
grandfather
gonna ask.
used
He
to
gonna think I'm
say,
stupid. He gonna think he better than me. You know what I'm saying? Or he gonna think he one up on me because I'm coming to ask for him. He gonna think he my boss. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna ask that man for nothing. So guess what I did? I just sold myself short because I'm like, man, nah, through the man rule of self-reliance, don't ask for help. Now I'm gonna sit in my own little box over here. And I'm gonna keep myself in this box because I don't want nobody to look at me like I don't know what I'm talking about. You understand what I'm saying? So that's a powerful one right there. What you got for me on that one, Chris? What you feel about that?
a quote that I used to hear growing up a lot. I believe my grandfather used to say it to my mother and her siblings: "Pride come before a fall." So because you too prideful to ask for help, and so now you don't got so you lose your job. You can't pay your bills. You got eviction on your door. You prideful to ask for help, but with your stuff sitting out front, you embarrassed.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta put pride aside. Pride, and as men, we're gonna have a certain amount of pride. We're gonna have a certain amount of macho, but we need to learn when to de-escalate and learn when enough is enough. Okay, I try to be the man. I can't be the man by myself. I need some help.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's okay to ask for help. You know, like you said, if we'd have asked for help early in life, we might not have been in our afflictions for so long.
That's right.
You know, or if men knew how to go to other men and offer help, he ain't gonna ask me for no help. So I'm gonna go to him and see if I can help him.
Yeah, it could be so many reasons why you don't ask for no help. So many reasons why.
You know, again, we worry about that stigma. You know, now I wanna throw a monkey wrench in here on you.
Come on.
A lot of times we do stuff as men, like open the doors for women or pull out chairs. But then our fellas around us start saying, man, you punk, you whip. And so we back up. We stop doing that now.
Right.
Again, you know, that's that ego.
That's right.
I want to be known as whip. I don't want to be known as soft. I ain't opening no door for you no more, shorty.
That's right. So let's I guess as we go, we can, like I said, we free flowing this thing, everyone. I mean, we can kind of maybe answer the questions for it right there. So let's just go back to self-reliance. We know that if we don't ask for help, we stay inside our own comfort zone, I guess you could say, right? Because we don't want people to think that we don't know what we're talking about. We don't want to learn. So we know we got to remove that man rule. What's man rule number 2? Man rule number 1, men don't cry. We already know that if we don't cry, we don't have an outlet for the emotions that we have built up. So that eventually is going to bust pipes. So 1, men, we need to be able to share emotion. We need to be able to shed tears and cry. There's so many different great things I can get into about water, okay? And water. Now we're going to take it to the word if you want, all right? 3 great things I know about water. How did we come into this world? Through water, right? Through the birth of water, birth of renewal, right? When we get baptized, what are we doing? We get baptized in water. Okay, so we get down, we dipped in the water, we come up refreshed and renewed. Then we have water that comes out our eyes that cries. This is the Holy Spirit that could be grieving that's inside of us for the things that we're doing wrong, right? So spiritually, we cry to water. That's the Spirit, the Holy Spirit grieving. This is how we cleanse ourselves spiritually inside. So there's a great things about water, okay? I mean, I just wanted to get into water real quick about the tears because, brothers, let it flow. Let it come out. Don't be ashamed. Okay? Hey, me and Brother Bonds and my brother Vondre were on here 3 weeks ago. I don't know what it was. And we were talking about the loss of our loved ones. And it had us shedding tears, right? We were unafraid. This is a safe space. We're trying to show through real life experience and encourage other brothers and sisters, or brothers, I'm sorry, to be able to share emotion and not be ashamed of it. Man, I still love my brother Bonds, and I'm pretty sure he loved me the same way he did. I love him even more now that he showed me that he's vulnerable to that extent, because we are breaking outside of our comfort zone. We are evolving, okay? You can't evolve if you stay within your comfort zone. You must step out, and that's what we're doing. So as we continue to heal, and I promise you that after we did shed those tears, I felt better. You know what I'm saying? I did feel better. After we got off and I dried them up and I thought about it all, I felt better. You know what I mean? So that's one. Men don't cry. We got to remove that. 2, self-reliance. That's false narrative, bro. We all need help. Okay, we all are not like given the information to know everything. How are we gonna know and learn anything if we're afraid to ask somebody for help? And that could be either help emotionally, that could be help with how to change a tire. It don't matter. Do not sell yourself short because you don't want to ask for no help. Okay? Because now you done stuck yourself on the side of the road and you can't change your tire. You're not going to ask this man to help you because he's going to think you wild out here. So these are just examples, all right? So,
hey, bro, I've been in that situation and I asked them, hey, bro, can you help me change the tire? And they look at me like, really? You don't know how to change the tire? I'm like, no, really, I don't. And to this day, I've never successfully changed the tire.
Right. Okay, here we go. We're moving to number 3. You want to hit with number 3?
Let's hit it.
You ready to move on, or you want to stay on 1 or 2? You want to go on?
No, let's go.
All right, number 3. Number 3 is aggression as the acceptable emotion. Okay?
Ooh.
Men have an aggression in teaching other men that this is how we communicate. Do you understand? You see this muscles, you see these knuckles, you see this chest, you see me broad, you see my voice abrasive. This is an acceptable way to communicate, which is terrible. Aggression as the acceptable emotion. While other emotions are often suppressed, anger or aggression is often framed as an acceptable and even necessary emotion for men. This can create a harmful environment where men might channel frustration, sadness, or fear into rage, leading to unhealthy conflict and even violence. You know what I'm saying? This is what happens when we think that the only way that we can talk is if we talk like we got an issue, we got a problem, we stronger, we bigger, we better, we got a chip on our shoulder. Come on, man. That's a man rule right there. That's a man rule that you could walk into, and if you're carrying that man rule into the wrong environment, you might mess around and get yourself in a bad situation.
Real bad.
Come on, talk to me, Chris. How you feel
about that? Ain't got nothing on me. Remember that line?
Come on. So what you think about 3? Talk to me about it.
What happened to him? And see, what you saying is lining up with what she's saying. The no sissy stuff concept.
Right.
You gotta be tough. I gotta be firm. I gotta be the boss. You see these chains I got on? Mm-hmm. See these shoes? Mm-hmm. You know, we trick ourselves or have been deceived or have been brainwashed into believing all these things that you are naming, that we can't cry, we can't show emotion, we gotta boss up, we gotta flex. And we flex. And sometimes I flex. I be in Walmart and I have a moment I flex. I'm like, damn, man. My wife be like, you flexed with a Walmart person? I'm like, yeah, I guess I kind of was uncalled for. But, you know, also quick shout out to Michelle Cousins, Christina Blake. They in the chat right now. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate y'all for joining us. Please, I hope y'all can take all this information and help pass it on to the young men, or even if you husband or whatever, you can kind of understand them a little bit better of certain things that they might be struggling in. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, hey, definitely appreciate that. Thanks for the encouragement. We need it. It's confirmation.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Christina Blake has an organization where she deals with kids. So the young men in her organization need to know this stuff while they still young men, you know, instead of when they 40 like us trying to figure out life. We done already lost valuable time.
Okay.
And so that's one of the reasons why I appreciate when people put the youth in front of me and I get to deliver a message and they look at me like, really? Yeah, really.
That's right.
A man ain't all that you think a man's supposed to be. Or a man ain't all you think a man not supposed to be.
That's right. Well, so I guess we're going on to number 4.
Give us number 4.
All right, number 4. Okay, trying to find for better words, masculinity, I guess you could say. Stoic masculinity, avoiding feminine traits. All right, society now has changed a lot. You know what I mean? So it's a gray area, and I'm not really trying to go down that road right now. So we just keep it where we at.
Hey, bro, hold on. I'm sorry. You see what she put up? Big wheel concept can be summarized as success, status, or the need to be looked up to. I used to deal with that. I didn't know it had a name, but I was a young guy. I was a young IT professional. Like I was 19, big time in the IT game. I had politicians calling me to teach their staff IT game. Like at the same time, doing bad stuff on the side. Right. But for me to put on a suit, go in front of these political appointee staff, and have Microsoft Excel, you know how people look up to me, how people sweated is the word we used back then. They used to sweat me.
That's right.
Hey, y'all, look at you. But I never knew it had a name. And I'm being transparent with y'all because, again, this is a safe space where we grow and learn from our past transgressions. But, again, I never knew it had a name. But I was like that for a long time. Like, I went to a school, I graduated, they gave me a job teaching, and I learned this software thing, and it was just off the hook. And for 5-6 years, I was just, that's all I did. But it wasn't the fact that I knew, it was the fact that I put on suits, I got in front of people, I presented information, and they looked up to me. They kind of looked at me like a Microsoft god, like, how you know all this stuff? And it's new.
Yeah.
But again, so this, I guess I say all this to say that there are stigmas out here that we face and deal with that we don't realize have titles to them.
That's right. That's right. I appreciate you sharing that, good brother.
Oh, man. All right.
So back to I think we were on 4. I think we were on 4. And that's the stoic masculinity, avoiding feminine traits. All right, this is for men. All right, like I said, a gray area. I'm not trying to get into all that, but for men, this is what it is. Societies often perpetuate the idea that emotions like compassion, empathy, nurturing, and sensitivity are feminine traits and therefore undesirable in men. Men may suppress these qualities. All right. Again, men may suppress these qualities to avoid being perceived as weak or feminine. This can stifle men's ability to form deep, emotionally fulfilling relationships or engaging in supportive roles in the family and in a community life. So, you know what I mean? If you always trying to, make sure that nobody sees any, I guess, feminine trait, right, which would be something like nurturing and empathy and stuff, right? These are things that men really are kind of like pushed away and have not to feel or how to act, and I get that. But as I've been breaking outside of that, I can use an example of me being more nurturing now with my grandbaby. I got a grandson now, right? Now, how I raised my other children when I was in the other world and another life, when I followed man rules and I was a dark individual, I didn't have no nurturing way to me. I was a good father and I love my kids and I was close to them. But when I mean nurturing, I mean really nurturing to them. Like showing them more love and affection than just beyond a baby. You know what I'm saying? Every person's going to treat a baby with a nurturing effect. So let's not get this misconstrued. All right, from newborn till about 3 or 4, and this was a saying that I used to have even for my mother, rest in heaven, Mom, is like she would say, I'm gonna keep them up until 3 years old. After 3, I don't want nothing to do with them no more, right? So from 0 to 3, right? From 0 to 3, men are likely to be nurturing because it's a baby. But after that baby reaches a certain age, especially little boy, we start cutting all that off. Like, oh, now I'm not hugging you like I used to. Or I ain't doing that. I mean, I'm about to start going to your body, stuff like that, right? Because that nurturing thing after a certain point to me mentally was like, yo, nah, I can't keep teaching him. He's beyond a baby now. He's about to be a little young man, little boy. It's time for me to start instilling some man rules in this kid. You know what I'm saying? He needs some man rules. So need to understand that nurturing stuff, we don't do all that. But that can affect you in your relationships. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a walking, living example of how that has suppressed a lot of my relationships. I couldn't get in no long, fulfilling, deep-rooted relationship because I didn't know how to be nurturing. I couldn't even be empathetic. I couldn't put myself in nobody else's shoes, being sympathy, all that. I was like, nah, this is the way it's going to be. This is who I am. I'm a man. You either going to accept me for what it is or it ain't nothing. And I'm going to keep it pushing. I might have lost a wonderful relationship, could have lost this, lost that. Matter of fact, I have lost it. It ain't no coulda. No, it did. They gone. You know what I'm saying? It ain't coming back. All right, but I'm not in that space no more. So right there, wanted to show that stoic masculinity, avoiding feminine traits. And I'm not talking about traits like how you walk and what you dress. I'm talking about the nurturing, the empathy. You know what I'm saying? The qualities of being having sensitivity towards situations. Stop being cold-hearted, cold-blooded. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? These are the stuff that we're talking about. We ain't talk about how you look. All right, we talk about how you express and how you show your emotions and stuff like that, man. Because if it ain't done properly, man, it ain't gonna be no fulfilling, long-lasting relationship. And if I ain't mistaken, if I can go back to a lot of the things that I heard from my exes, right? They probably I can see that now. Like, dog, I wasn't no compassionate cat, Brian. I wasn't no sympathetic dude or nothing like that. It was none of that. You know what I mean? I couldn't meet you halfway. You know what I mean? Ain't no meeting you halfway. It's my way or the highway. You know what I'm saying?
I think I'm still working on my compassion level thing, but just spinning off what you said, like in the household, guys would say, I ain't washing no dishes. That's women.
Right. Okay, I was going. Go ahead. Keep going.
You want me to dust the furniture?
Man, all we do is take out trash and load up the ice trays. That's it.
Right? For 6 years, I've been married. My wife has been telling me I have what she calls effeminate behavior. And I tell her, I grew up around 3 women, my mother, my sister, and my grandmother. So I'm bound to do something that, bro, let me tell you a story real quick. When we first got together, I said, can I polish your nails? And she said, yeah, sure. Man, I polished her nail like I was a Vietnamese, dog. She looked at her hand. She was like, Dad, for real? I said, I grew up around women. You don't think I could sew? You don't know? So
you didn't want nobody to know that, though. I bet you didn't want nobody to know that at one time.
Hey, bro, you ain't never lied. But, I mean, I did. I grew up around women, so I learned a lot of stuff that women do.
For sure.
But at the same time, yeah, you're right. I couldn't take that to the streets and be at school polishing people's nails or hemming people's clothes or, because now I'm looked at as they probably would have they would have clowned me because I went to DC public school. They would have clowned me for sure. But,
I'm gonna give you an example too. I'm gonna give you a story too.
At some point in time, we learn to put those barriers behind us, and still I don't go around publicly polishing nails, but I don't mind being vulnerable in that area before my wife.
Right.
And so whatever these effeminate behaviors she claim I have them. She accept them. Yeah. I guess I live with them because I possess them, but I've never looked into it.
Well, now that you done told me that and where we are now, I don't look at you no differently than knowing the fact that you know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we changing. You know what I'm saying? We changing. Now, you asked me that 4 or 5 years ago, man, I might have been like, man, bro, I can't rock with Slim, dog. He out here. You need to talk about that. All right. Let me give you another little story and example to back that up, too. All right. So back when I was a young cat in school and I was running with the dope boys as a young dude, they was all rappers. Right. And they was writing lyrics and raps and stuff. But me, I actually, now that I am gotten to the place and healed to where I am, I'm starting to venture down a little bit of spoken word. Right. And I'm starting to do spoken word and written poetry. All right. So back when I used to write poetry, I didn't want nobody to know I was writing poetry, right? So these cats see me writing, they writing, and they like, what you doing? Me, I'm writing poetry, but I'm telling them, oh, no, this raps. This raps. I'm a rapper, right? Listen, I can't rap a lick, bro, okay? You know what I'm saying? So, but I ain't want them to know that. So I was just using that as an example. Like, yo, like I can't let these jokers know I'm writing poetry, dog. Like spoken word of poetry. Now, I mean, of course, nowadays it's kind of a real lit thing. People enjoy it now. But back in the early '90s, you know what I'm saying? When crack hit the streets and all that, you think that we over here, and plus I was getting money then. So you think that I would be over there breaking down an A-ball, talking about y'all, I got some poetry for y'all, want y'all to hear?
I can see dudes now saying, I ain't hanging with no poet.
Like, come on now. So yeah, I wanted to throw that out there too, man. I'm glad that we could have examples. Yeah, I couldn't say poetry. I ain't want nobody to know I do no poetry, dog. When I used to, even me though, I'm gonna hold myself accountable right now. When I think poetry, I'm thinking about the cat that's walking around with the little bull with the hat, the mustache flipped like this, with the rose in his hand. Like, you know what I'm saying? He got the knickerbockers on, man. You know what I'm saying? He got the knickerbockers on. He walking around. So yeah, I couldn't get down with that. But now I'd be like, man, hey, that's you, man. Do you, man? Express yourself. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All right. So let's move on to number 5. And there are a few more I can throw out there, but these are 5 These 5 were important to me. And that is number 5, the pressure to be the provider and the protector. All right. The pressure to be the provider and the protector. The societal expectation that men should always be the provider, protector, and problem solver can also impact emotional expression. When men feel overwhelmed and insecure about their ability to fulfill these roles, the pressure can suppress their emotional needs, leading to stress and mental health issues. You know what I'm saying? You gotta think, like, if you the head of the household, right?
Okay.
And you in front, you in charge. And you got the pressure of being the provider. Say that you ain't making that money no more. You can't provide for your family, right? You ain't gonna want to go back there and tell your mother, your girl that, your family that. You're not gonna want to go that. That pressure of being the provider is one that actually cause, and I call it like a dangerous situation. Like, what is it? Critical measures cause critical situations and stuff like that. Man, if you are so pressured that you are the provider, you the provider only, and you got it in your head, in your mind, mentally that nobody else can do it, you can't do it no more, you feel like you're a failure. You feel like you done failed your family, you done failed anybody by just not knowing that it's a two-way street. Now, I do agree with it to an extent. Now, I do believe that men should be a provider and a protector. I do that. But is the pressure of it being like you the sole one doing it, or if I have my other half hold me down right now, that's going to make me feel less of a man. You know what I'm saying? Or I might have to take the back seat back, or now I no longer wear the britches in the relationship no more because I ain't the breadwinner. You know what I'm saying? Or because I'm not bringing in the money, or I'm not bringing that. Now I can't protect you because now you can't even go out here and get no money. I used to protect me. You can't even pay the bills. You can't do nothing. So now the pressure of all of that, and it's a lot. So a lot of men might carry that pressure around on them, thinking that boom, and guess what? His career might not be what it's gonna be. He might have had made some mistakes in life, or something might have happened in his life to where he didn't become all successful. So now he can't be the provider and the protector, because the pressure says that you got to be that provider protector. Now he's selling himself short. Now he like, dang, I ain't gonna get no good woman. I ain't gonna get no girl. I ain't gonna have this. I ain't gonna have that because I can't be a provider. What do you think he might do? He might turn to the streets. He might be like, yo, I'm gonna go get this money in another way then. Or I'm gonna go get this money. I'm gonna pick up this pistol or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever. I'm just using a bunch of examples, but I'm thinking that the pressure to be a provider and a protector.
What do you think about that in real time, being that I haven't worked in 4 months. And so for 4 months, since October, since October. My wife been holding it down. Right. Now, let me again. This is a safe space, so I'm gonna be transparent about some stuff.
Wow.
So
wow.
Side eye, just go with it and say, "LOL, Chris is funny." And I don't know if my wife ever noticed I do this or not. When I'm broke and we at the grocery store, I kind of stand back and don't try to have input because I ain't got no money to spend.
Wow.
But when I got $150, $200, but the whole time I worked in that restaurant, I always had at least $300 on me because I was a manager, but I took tables, so I made daily tips. So I'm like, let's get this, let's get that, let's go out and eat here. I got it. You know,
hey, let me stop you right there. Don't lose that. But you just showed me an example of how you changed as an individual when you had the money and when you didn't have the money.
Oh yeah.
You just see what just happened. You just said I ain't had the money, so now you done put yourself on the back burner. You done suppressed yourself back to where you can't even put your input. She might be buying a whole bunch of different eggs or something you don't even need because you got eggs in the house. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't gonna say nothing like I ain't got no money. I ain't buying it anyway. So we just gonna buy eggs that's gonna spoil for no reason. Now we don't waste some money now because you ain't. You see where I'm going with this?
Hold on. I see where you're going with that. And to a degree, you're right. Now, it wouldn't be like that. It'd be like, say we looking at meats. And she said, well, what kind of meat you want? And I'd be like, well, let's get this right here. And I point to some cheap chicken. Instead of me, I really want this other chicken over here. That's
you want that Purdue. You want that Purdue.
Yeah, I don't want that Tyson. You're right. I want that Purdue. Or I want a slab of salmon. But because she holding down the fort, she paying the gas, the water bill, the electric bill. I'm sorry, no gas, no water, electric bill. She paying the full rent. She paying the car insurance, the internet, her credit cards. I feel like I need to step back and let her do what she do and not take extra money out of the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
But again, when I got money in my pocket, I'm throwing everything in the basket because you know why? We get to the front and they come up to $300. Well, I only plan to spend $150. I can dig in my pocket and say, here go $150.
So your confidence is there. Confidence is there. I'm taking charge. I got it. Like boom. You feel me?
Yeah. But when I ain't got it, bro, I sit in the back seat. Yeah. I chill. I try not to make a whole lot of noise.
Right.
And again, I don't feel like. Well, I put myself, she never told me you can't select food. She never told me this ain't your space no more until you get a job.
Yeah.
I put myself in that situation.
You assume that role on your own because from that man rule right there, you like if you ain't providing, then you got, you know what I'm saying? You got that's a false narrative right there, man. That's a false narrative.
It is. But again, she listening, she on a segment. Every segment I do, she on, by the way.
Right.
And so now she learning, but again, I don't know. Did you know that? Did you realize I was doing that? Oh, she's not gonna answer. But yeah, and it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But again, fellas listening, I did that again.
Right. I've done that. Don't hold yourself in there. I've been in that box before too. Trust me, man. I was in a time in my life where I'm paying double child support, man. I ain't had no bread, man. Look, I put myself in the box to the point where I was like, almost like, I almost was at a place mentally where I was like, man, I don't got no say so in nothing right now. I'm just kind of like, just taking it. You know what I'm saying? Just taking it and ain't got nothing to say. I felt like I wasn't, who the man that I was expected to be. The depression started setting in. It was just starting to spiral more and more. And of course, at the time, I was already dealing with alcoholism, so that just furthered that even deeper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. Let me add another part to it. I know I go on several interviews. I go on at least 3 interviews a week, and I interview for a job. I want this job. I feel like the job want me, and then I get that email saying, "Yeah, we chose somebody else."
Right.
Damn, this job would have put me back on the map. This job paid to the point where 2 checks would have restabilized my whole environment.
Man, I could have reassumed my role in the front of the house. I could took back over control, all that, right?
But man, I don't, you know, and again, it's been 4 months. So while I'm not clinically depressed, I am feeling like, dang, man, I got to do something. I haven't went in my mind, I haven't went to let me hit the streets, let me pick up a pistol, because that's not an option for me, because that gets you sent away, and now you really ain't doing nothing for your family. You know, you in a bad position and put them in a bad position.
That's right.
You know, so I mean, I just keep plugging away. But yeah, I have my moments, bro, and I'm like, dang, man, I gotta, man, dang, what can I sell something? Like, you know.
Yeah, they say desperate measures cause desperate actions, man. You know what I'm saying? So, quick rundown. We went through 5. There are more. Any men out here, remember, this is a safe space. Please reach out. Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags. If you have any questions and concerns and like to join us in a safe space and to be able to share emotion, this is just encouraging other brothers to come on here as well. So this ain't just that. We're learning together. All right. We just went through 5 quick topics. 1, emotional stoicism. Be tough. Men don't cry. 2, self-reliance. Don't ask for help. 3, aggression is the acceptable emotion. 4, stoic masculinity. And then 5 was the pressure to be the provider and protector. Those were the 5 man rules that I wanted to focus on today. We gave some examples. We gave our own real life experiences with them. All right. So now we got to go to make it all make sense. The consequences of suppression emotions. All right. So we got the consequences. All right, the social pressures that discourage emotional expression in men can have a number of negative consequences, both for individual men and for society as a whole. Listen to what that says. Men, as society as a whole, if we are struggling in this area, then our society can struggle, okay? This is bigger than just you, all right? Let's not be selfish here. This is in a society perspective. Some of the most significant impacts include mental health issues, all right? Mental health issues. Repressing emotions has been linked to higher rates of depression, anxiety, and suicide among men. Men are less likely to seek help for mental health issues due to the stigma around expressing vulnerability. Okay? Relationship strain. Suppressed emotions can lead to difficulties in forming and in maintaining close, authentic relationships. Men who feel unable to express emotions like love, sadness, or fear may struggle with intimacy or communication in romantic partnerships, friendships, and family relationships. These are all the things that happen behind relationship strain. These are the consequences that happen. 3, physical health problems. Emotional repression has been associated with a higher risk of physical health issues, including hypertension, cardiovascular disease, chronic pain. Stress from not dealing with emotions can contribute to these health risks. All right. So physically, it can bother our bodies. High hypertension, man, high blood pressure. This stuff has come from stress. This has come from emotional repression. This is keeping yourself suppressed. All these things happen. All right, toxic masculinity. When societal expectations force men to conform to narrow definitions of masculinity, it can foster toxic masculinities. These include behaviors like objectifying women, right? Okay, let's go right there. Objectifying women, like being a womanizer. You hear me? Suppressing emotions, bullying others, or resorting to violence when under pressure. The result is often damage to both the men involved and the communities around them. This is a broad spectrum. All right, y'all. All right. Last but not least, 5 will be the unhealthy coping mechanisms. Some men may turn to listen to this. Some men may turn to harmful coping mechanisms to deal with their repressed emotions. This was me, all right, y'all, including substance abuse. All right. Aggression, or avoiding difficult emotions altogether by engaging in distractions like video games, excessive work, or other escape behaviors. All right. Behaviors to escape your reality. All right. And mine was substance abuse. All right, alcoholism, drug abuse, to take me away from the life that I was living, the traumas, whatever, man rules, whatever. But these are the 5 consequences that I had came up with of suppressing your emotions. All right, all goes back to, in a full circle, which is the man rules, stigmas that keep men from healing. All right, this is what all the things that happen. All right, these are like the unhealthy things. And like the last few minutes of the show, we can freestyle. But in conclusion, right? In my conclusion, man rules that suppress emotional expression are harmful to both men and society. While many men have been socialized to adhere to these rules, there is growing awareness of the importance of emotional well-being and vulnerability. Challenging these outdated notions of masculinity and fostering an environment where men feel free to express a range of emotions can lead to healthier, more fulfilling lives. It is important for individuals and communities to continue to push for change, creating a world where people, all people, regardless of gender, can express their emotions authentically and without judgment. In places like this, which is the Purple Table Talk for Men, domestic violence wears many tags, safe space. These are the examples of these areas and these places that we are trying to push into our society, which we are trying to normalize, taking away the man rules and being okay to be who you are, being comfortable within your own skin. All right. You got to be comfortable with who you are in your own skin, my brothers. So listen up. I hope y'all enjoyed that right there. We can freestyle and free flow through anything else. If there's any questions to be asked, please reach out 202-920-9101. Or, you can call in. Please call in. We'd like to hear from you. And any questions you have, feel free to ask, man. And outside of that, real quick, want to put it out there. King Kali 27, my IG. Gary Henson on my Facebook. Please reach out, DM. I can answer any questions to help in any way, man. Please, it's the Triangle Resource. We pushing, we remapping, changing mindsets, aspects, and perspectives. I'm passing to you, my brother Chris. What's happening?
So I'm gonna have another transparent moment because
let's do it. That's why we here.
You mentioned substance abuse. So how I talked about, I forgot what it was called, the syndrome that I didn't know I had, big wheel syndrome.
Right.
So I got big wheel syndrome. I'm making a lot of money. I'm in everywhere I'm teaching. I'm doing my thing. Around 2000, had to be around 99, 2000, the wheels started to fall off because now everybody know Microsoft. Like, you just can cut on the computer and you just know it. So the schools and the teachers aren't so prevalent anymore. So there go the checks, there go the suits, there go the attention that I was getting. This coincided with my substance abuse use. Because I'm not the man no more.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm not in the man no more. I don't really know how to take this.
That's right.
I got 300 suits. because just 365 days a year, I do this every day. All right, and probably not quite 300, but I had a ton of suits.
That's right.
But I was the man. Now I'm not the man no more. I don't know how to handle this. Mm-hmm. I was already doing powder. So what's the difference between powder and crack? The form? Mm-hmm. One is the rock, one is
you want me to explain it to you? No, I mean, no. I was about to do the whole breakdown for you,
Believe me, I know. Believe me, I know. But
old days, man. Old days, man.
People is we got to be careful when transitions come apart because we can't let that transition tear us up. Let that transition run through me, and not realizing I learned a lot of stuff in these conversations, like, and I'm learning that was a connection to my substance abuse use.
All right.
Until the day I knew other things added to it. Growing up without a dad added to it. Unstable, a lot of contributing factors. But that was a major contributing factor. And again, it didn't hit me until she put up big wheel syndrome. And then you started talking on your last point. So we got to be careful. We got to walk a fine line. And again, if I'd have went to somebody and said, hey, this is who I am. This is what I can do. Can you help me?
Right.
I probably would have been thrown into a law firm or thrown into a nonprofit where I can do what I know how to do. But again, I'm feeling like the world coming to an end. Let me smoke it up.
That's right. Hey, listen, I totally can get that. I look at it like this, Chris. You know how they say things go hand in hand, like a cigarette go with a beer or something like that?
Right.
These man rules, alcoholism, outlets, drugs, all that stuff, anger, violence, all that stuff go hand in hand with each other. They all like, they kind of like pull off of each other. Because, you know what I'm saying? I experienced a transition like that where everything got taken from me too. You know what I'm saying? Like I was getting it at one time. I was the big wheel. I was the big dog. I was getting money. You know, boom, boom. Some things that might have transpired in my life, I no longer was that person no more. Right. So I literally shut down in so many different ways. As being, I guess, a leader. You know what I'm saying? A leader, of being a man, a leader at my job, leader in my household, and all that. I kind of just started going through life, going through flowing, free flowing, didn't care, you know, just rather would find my outlet, like you said. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because man rules, the stigmas, the alcoholism, the drug addiction, how to express, keeping things bottled up, all that stuff, man, it all is like in the same vicinity of each other. You know what I mean? They're not too far from each other and they all go hand in hand. So what I mean by that is we can't say exactly which one you might be struggling from. It could be alcoholism, but because of your alcoholism, now the man rules have taken over. And now because now the alcohol has clouded your judgment. Now the man rules have taken over. Now you are failing in your relationship in so many ways because you're not showing emotion. You're not showing vulnerability. But you can't show emotion and vulnerability because you on drugs. So now you numb. You see where I'm going? They back and forth. Exactly. They ping ponging off each other. And it's almost a never-ending process. You know what I'm saying? It's like you conquer one, but then you got the other one. You conquer the other one, but you gotta conquer them to conquer them all. Because once you get them out of the way, then you can start knocking them all off. Because they kind of wrap together. They go hand in hand with each other. You correct your alcoholism. Guess what? You might start correcting your emotional suppressions. Now you might start learning how to ask people for something. You put your pride aside. You know what I mean? Or now, instead of the pride, now you put your pride aside. Now you can start working on your alcoholism. Or now you done put your anger aside. Now you can start working on your nurturing. You see where I'm going with this? Like, it's all hand in hand. So it's so many different variables to this thing. All right, so I just wanted to share that with y'all because it could be numerous different things. You might not be dealing with the man rules, right? You might not believe in the man rules, but since you are alcoholic, right? Since you are alcoholic and you drunk, right, or you whatever you are, you might be like using one of these man rules and don't realize it because you're an alcoholic. Oh, I don't believe in that. Men should cry and all that, but yet you so messed up over here off your alcoholism that you don't know how to nurture. You don't know how to do that. You see all these different angles, and man, it can be played in, man. So I just be very careful. You know, I just want to say that it's just so many different variables to this thing, man.
All right, and I want to push that question that just popped up too. What topics, brothers, man? Give us some topics. There's a Michael in the chat. I don't know Michael, but thank you for joining us, Michael, and supporting us. You got a topic, Michael, you want us to talk about? Give it to us. Or any lady, Christina.
Suggestion. I do got another one. I got another one for episode 5.
Okay. Don't tell them what it is just yet.
Okay, I got another one. I mean, of course, I'm going to discuss it with the crew and see if y'all would like it. But this one's a very, very good one. I don't want to let the cat out the bag.
She said,
what is it?
Okay. Go ahead. Pop it out.
Let's get it. So we're gonna put an actual title on it, but it's dealing with self-esteem issues. All right, self-esteem. Okay. All right, and the reason why I'm gonna say that self-esteem is let's call it something like this. Men are suppressed by the colors of blue and pink. Just by the two colors of blue and pink, I could tell you right now that men are being suppressed from the day we are born. Matter of fact, we are being suppressed while we are still in the womb. Okay?
By the colors blue and pink.
By the colors of blue and pink. And I'll break that down for y'all on the next episode, episode 5, about how the colors of blue and pink. All right, but just the colors of blue and pink about how men are suppressed.
Well, I'm gonna be there because I ain't got no choice but to be there. But I'm just as eager as the audience is, the listeners are, to hear how this is actual ailment. I don't know the word to use.
I want to kind of talk about it right now. It's such a good topic, but I'm gonna go ahead and be patient. But yes, y'all are gonna be tripped out by the colors of blue and pink and what transpires and what happens just off the color. I mean, how many colors are how many colors are in the spectrum in the crayon box? It's 60. It was 62 colors in the crayon.
You know what size box you get, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But out of all of those colors, the colors blue and pink, just the colors blue and pink, and I'm gonna teach y'all how that suppressed men from birth, from birth.
Okay,
y'all gonna be blown away.
We gonna
blown away.
Hey man, look, that's God's #1 hype, man. So I can't argue with him.
Man, I hope y'all enjoyed this wonderful evening. I appreciate that. Look, I learned so much by just going through this with y'all. I'm looking back at my memory of the years that I passed, and you know what? It's almost a Saul to Paul transfer, right? And to take it to a little bit of scripture, right? It was a time where Paul, which was Saul, was being talked about by some other Christians, and they were like, look at this guy. He used to be a persecutor of Christians. He used to persecute Christians and enslave the Christians, right? But now he's a man of God, he's a man of Jesus, right? But where I'm going with this is this. Even Paul had to stop and be like, who are they talking about, right? And because through the transformation of your mind, right, the gift of the Holy Spirit, see, Jesus came, and I try and get in the story, and he blinded him, and he came back a new man, right? But this is the thing. We cannot forget where we come from. All right. We can never forget where we come from because it's made us to who we are today. The trials, the tribulations, the adversities, without them, we wouldn't be who we are today. So I don't take nothing away from none of that pain, none of that long suffering, none of that. Long suffering gives long vision. I promise you that. Without no long suffering, you won't be where you are. I would definitely take that. But what I mean by that,
hey, put that on the screen, Queen. Long suffering. Say it again.
I said long suffering gives you long vision.
Yeah, put that on the screen. I want people to see that.
Yeah, long suffering gives you long vision. All right. It's a humbleness. Without no 13 years of persecution, you're not going to look at things the same. But you go through 13 years of persecution, now you look back and now you might got some sympathy, some empathy. You're like, oh, I look at that differently now. I done went through that. You know what I'm saying? So there's a level of you have to go through that. So where I was going with the Saul to Paul transfer was talking to you through these man rules and the last 3 episodes. I look back into years of what I was going through, and I'm like, dang, that's why I was acting like that. Dang, that's why I was doing that, right? So we can't forget, as much we transform, renewal of the mind, the old man is dead and gone away, all right? Yes, that is real in my life. I have to sometimes look back and be like, man, I used to act like that. And through these conversations of these episodes we've been going on, I had to look back and be like, yo, that was literally me.
I've had that moment.
Like, yo, I was like, yo, that literally I was literally that dude. I was literally lost. I was like, dang. But it encourages me to look back to see how far I've came. So we can't just always say we moved on for that. That's dead. That man gone. Man, nah. Let's not be like that no more. We gotta look back there. See why this was happening, because now you have knowledge and wisdom now that we just learned to look back there and be like, that's why I was that. You might get some closure. You might get some closure in some areas like, oh, okay, dang, that's why that happened to me. Oh, that's why I did that. It's because of X, Y, and Z was going, because of the man rule, because I couldn't cry, because this is why I was acting like that. So you can't forget about what happened to you in the past. even though I have to look back and say, yo, who are you talking about? Just like Paul did when they were talking about Saul. Who are y'all talking about? We were talking about you. Like, whoa, that was me?
That
Like,
was me.
yeah, that was me. And I'm glad I can go back and look at it because now I know how far I've came. You know what I'm saying? And without that long suffering, I wouldn't have the long vision or the wisdom that I have now. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate everybody that joined us, man. God is great. Um, yeah, so hey, I love everybody. Hope everybody got some good information to help them move on with their life, men, and for the women to help the men to understand the men, your husbands, your boyfriend, your brother, your uncle, you know what I'm saying, your father, whatever. These are the things that men are dealing with. These are why men be acting weird sometimes to y'all, man, because this is the stuff that we're taught. The man rules, stigmas that keep men from healing. Don't forget that. Let's remove them, y'all. Let's go.
Man, this was a great one, man. Impactful. I'm not gonna do a recap. You did a recap. They was listening. The replays are available. Do YouTube and Facebook. Um, check it out. Share it with somebody. Send it to a friend, neighbor, loved one, co-worker. But mostly understand yourself, men and ladies. Take a note. I mean, because I see y'all on the line. So let me just address y'all. Understand that when you come across a brother and you see something you deem as a male rule, don't really charge it to his head, charge it to his heart, because it's probably something that he was brainwashed to believe.
Exactly.
That don't know yet that he should not be thinking like that. And some men go through life and never learn that it's okay to do X, Y, and Z, while some men pick it up early. So again, charge it to his head, not his heart. But again, share the message. Say, okay, you know what? And you might have to be slick about it. You got a DVD player in your car. So, we're going on a road trip. Hey, let's watch this.
Right.
Like I was listening to, I don't know if y'all know Deron Cloud, but Deron Cloud did a teaching transformation, some kind of transformation or something. And we talked about the 4 temperaments. And one day I was listening to the teaching, and they was talking about the melancholy. And I got my wife, she ear hustling. She saying, "Wow, that sounds like me." Sometimes you hear stuff on a cuff and realize, "Wow, that sounds like me." And you start to tune in and pay attention. And while they might not admit I struggle with that, they will change their behavior.
They will.
Every man ain't gonna get on here and say they polish nails real good. Every man ain't gonna get in here and say they was a poet.
Or now I am a poet. I'm an inspiring poet now. You understand?
Right. But see, had we had honed on those crafts earlier, where would you be now if you had honed in on your poetry early, not worried about a male stigma? You'd have been Wikipedia bound.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I would have opened up a nail salon, but if I had not been bound by what we call male rules, I'm sure I would have been in a different place in life.
Me too. I 100 feel that. I definitely agree with you on that. That if I knew a lot of this information that I knew, then I would probably not be in this place. I take that for better, for worse. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, how that look. But definitely, man. I definitely, and listen up, brothers. If you feel as though any brother that's listening, if you feel as though this stuff is relatable to you, then it's a notion for you to take a second to have some self-awareness right now. You know what I'm saying? Go down these 5 rules and see if they apply to you. And if they do, then maybe you can start doing something about it. You know what I'm saying? And then also for the ladies, if you are watching this, if your loved one, your other half, your uncle, brother, whatever, if you see them dealing with this, bring it to their interest and get them to have a thought about it, because you never know where that could go. You might be able to pull him out of the suppression that he's in. You know what I'm saying? Now that we have the knowledge and we know that these things exist, these stigmas are really truly out here, and men are suffering from them daily. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying my best to get out of mine. You know what I mean? I'm not perfect. Like, trust me, this stuff is, like you said, embedded in us from birth, from young. It's beat into a lot of us through the body. Through physical strength and you know how brothers do, you know, jumping each other in the gangs, all that stuff. Like that stuff is put into our heads so mentally it's very difficult. So like you said, don't charge it to him, charge it to the heart, you know, whatever. Don't charge the heart. You know, try to get him out of the suppression that he's in, man. I just wanted to share that one last thing, man. God bless, love you all. You know, I don't know how much more time we got, man, but I just really hope that this really helps any brother that's out here dealing with them man rules, man.
Leanne Peaches Williams Hendricks, thank you for your support. Haven't seen you, heard from you in quite a while. Hope all is well with you and your organization and affiliations.
Yeah, Miss Leanne Peaches, how you doing?
You know.
Yeah, I've done work with her before. God bless you for all the work you're doing in the community.
Yes, sir. She is doing a great work. Yeah, we got just under 5 minutes left. I'm thinking she's gonna roll that music in any minute. But you know, again, we want y'all. I don't know if she got a date she can put up for the next Purple Table Talk, but I want to remind everybody to join us because King Kylie, he's gonna break down why we are suppressed by pink and blue. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
All right, gonna break that down while we suppressed by the
colors of pink and blue.
So that's on the next Purple Table Talk. So you gotta join us. We ain't gonna have no refreshments, no continental breakfast or nothing like that. We apologize, but you know what? You're more than welcome to make dinner and sit and eat while we chat it up.
Man, keep your ear to the streets because we'll be coming back to y'all within the next few weeks.
That's right, man. And man, shout out to Young Motive, man. You know, his music, man. I had a chance to meet this guy before. He had a song a long time ago about taking this girl out. He called it something about meet me after school for some burgers and fries. And it was a young song, but it resonated well with me. But this guy, man, I see he's still out here doing this thing. Appreciate him. All due respect.
Once again, got to give a shout out to Queen of Feed, Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags. My man, Mr. Change Agent Chris Bonds in the building, y'all.
Hold on. This is our first segment this year. So you know January 1st made 25 years for me. Gotta put it up. I don't know what happened. He froze up over there, but hey, man, shout out to Queen of Fear and Domestic Violence. 25 years of sobriety and domestic violence free. 25 years since I put that rock to my mouth. 25 years since I put my fist to a female. You ain't know? You better ask somebody. But we out, y'all. We see y'all next month. Peace.
This is
what happened with King Kylie.
And I have a topic today that's often overlooked. Domestic violence. Domestic violence wears many tags. So Queen of Fear, if you're listening, check it out. Domestic violence, it has to stop. The kids are crying. It's coming down like raindrops. It's a behavior we can't condone. It's breaking up our happy homes. Let's get it together.